really frequently and going in the wrong direction, getting worse and worse at such a young age, and at a time where you really need to be able to concentrate and be able to enjoy your college experience and accomplish your studying that you needed to do. And then having gone through this process of failing to get relief through medication, and actually some of those medicines making it even worse, to where you'd rather just have the headache rather than the medication side effects. And then finally, your angel Ryan here comes along and teaches you some things and gets you where you want to be. What are your big takeaways through this whole process?
Um, Prior to seeing Ryan, it was really detrimental, I think, not only to my physical health, but also my mental health. I wasn't able to be active and live the lifestyle that I wanted to. Felt like I was living in almost constant pain. I spent a lot of hours on the phone with my mom and my dad, because I'm from Colorado originally, so not being at home with the family support that I needed, it was really hard. And working through it, it's been a huge relief,
Mhm.
on my mental health and just in my personal life, to not have to worry about, oh my gosh, what if I get a migraine? Am I going to have to carry medicine with me? Am I going to have to leave early? I think it was impacting almost every aspect of my life. If I was going out to dinner with friends, I was driving my own car separately just in case I was getting sick, so I
Right.
could leave if I had to. Um, it's it's been very life changing, truthfully.
Yeah.
um, to be able to have someone come in and say, let's do simple movements to kind of mitigate and manage your symptoms, and focus on it not in a medicinal way and in a prescription way, which is huge to me, because I think the side effects with prescriptions are just awful, and they impact way more than they need to. And usually you take a prescription to feel one need, and it causes 10 other problems that you didn't foresee. Um, so it's been really helpful to not have to take a million different medications, and kind of steer me on a completely different path than I needed to be on.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thanks for that, Hunter. Ryan, your takeaways from a clinical standpoint, what would you help others understand when they see patients, and just using Hunter as an example?
uh, to listen to what the mechanics are telling you. The her spine, her signs and symptoms led me in a specific direction, and her responses to mechanical assessment also led me in a direction, and when to abandon a certain like upper cervical retraction. Right, it taught me that it's when it's not having the expected effect, then it's time to move on. And you can move on relatively rapidly.
Mhm.
Go with what's right in front of you. And if there isn't anything that's right in front of you, then go with the thing that makes the most sense. Like let's say just for example, that she didn't have any uh, tension signs, and she had no lower C extension loss. I probably would have increased pressures somewhat into retraction. And if that did nothing, then I would have been probably provocative. I would have tried to produce something, either with a protrusion, possibly a flexion test, like hit the mid C area with flexion. Um, when I'm at a stalemate of trying to figure out exactly what to do, usually I try to avoid sending them out with retraction or protrusion, because there's too many variables that are occurring. Because like retraction is upper C flexion, mid C who knows what's happening in the transition zone, and lower C is a moderate amount of extension. And like upper C, when you're protruding, upper C extension, transition zone, who knows what's really going on, lower C flexion. Those tend to be ambiguous tests. So I like to do a composite flexion or composite extension. That way I know that upper mid and lower C are doing one thing at the same time.
Mhm.
And I would choose whatever makes the most sense to their history, and particularly the worst section, like what makes you worse. I find that it just invaluable, because that leads my, like, what position is your spine in when you are worse or when a symptom comes on, and that will drive my test to send them out with as to get some more data for session 2.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's a great story. We're super excited, Hunter, that you're feeling better and that you're back to running and all. We appreciate you sharing all of that bad stuff that had happened originally, and then the more positive things, and happy ending here. Thanks for joining and being willing to share your story.
Hear the entire episode for free on iTunes, Spotify, other favorite podcast players, or go to mechanicalcareforum.com.